Hello, my name is Jairon Pañadilla. I'm a member of Group 9. I'm going to talk about interlanguage. Interlanguage is the term for a dynamic linguistic system that's been developed by a learner of a second language, or L2, who has not become fully proficient, but is approximating the target language, preserving some feature of their referred language, or L1, or over generalizing target language roles in speaking, or widening their target language, and creating innovation. Interlanguage work is a vibrant microcosm of linguistics. It is possible to apply an interlanguage perspective to learn underlying knowledge of the target language, sound system, interlanguage, phonology, grammar, morphology, and syntax, vocabulary, lexicon, and language use, norms found among learners interlanguage plastic. The best of this is the language. After the Larry Seliger in 1972 at the tape from U.S. Wainwright, 1943, third in the language, and that peak color, 1971 later popularized in the language, refers to the separateness of an L2 language system, a system that has a structurally intermediary status between the native and target language. William Nelson, 1971, preferred to stress the successive approximation to the target language in his third proximity systems. And Carter, 1971, also used the term idiosyncratic dialects to connote the concept that the learned language is unique to a particular individual, that the rules of the learned language are peculiar to the individual alone. Why each of these designations emphasizes a particular viewpoint, they share the concept that second language learners are forming their own self-constructed linguistic systems. Neither the system of the L1 nor the system of the L2 but system based upon the best attempts of learners to bring order and structure to the linguistic stimulus surrounding them. The interlanguage hypothesis led to a new era of second language research and teaching and represents a significant breakthrough from the study of Islam. The more obvious approach to analyzing interlanguage is to study the speech and writing of learners, and what is also called learned language Islam. James, 1990, Liebert and Inspired. 2006, Adamson. 2008, Production, Speaking and Writing. Data is empirically observable and is policies to be reflected or learned, underlying production. Competence revealing developmental change of linguistics for over time. Comprehension, listening, and reading must of course not be ignored in a description of learned language anymore than considering products in child or one acquisition as sufficient to paint a full picture stage of learned language development. You will recall that China acquired their R1 process through a number of identifiable stages. It is possible to specific similar stage for active learn stage. The answer is yes and no. Yes, if you are satisfied with relative broad strokes and fast lines or distinction between stages. Now, if those strokes are too broad for your liking and few takes into consideration a great deal of variation among our two lines. Pre-systematic studies called the 1973 observed that in the early stage R2 layers may make a number of random rows since they are only marginally aware of given at center of the R2 system. Consider this actual greater influence by a student in which the intended meaning is quite a mystery. The difference is another one in the another two. I want to become a physical therapist. I will study for 6 years. Society has it hard living. Bitterness weight into the declared dragging and far traveled life. The incoherence of such sentences may have come from learned grades. Do you have any idea what a physical therapist is? A board attempts to express a thought by without control of structure and or lexical emergence state. Now the learned linguistic production becomes more consistent as certain words and phrases possible correct in the learned meaning are endorsed and applied. System stage. In the third stage, the learner is now able to manifest more consistency in producing the second language. The most salient difference between the second and third stage in the ability of learners to replay their error when they are pointed out, even very century to them. Post-systematic stage. In the final stage, which from research long 20 or 3 core stabilization, the learner has relatively few errors and has mastered the system to the point that fluence and intended meaning are now problematic. The fourth stage is characterized by the learner's ability to search correct in this space A's. When many satellites are hovering on our heads, I mean of overheads. It should be made clear that these four states do not globally describe alert steps in the development of the R2. For example, lands would rarely be in an emerging state for all R2 subsystems. One may be in a second stage with respect to, say, the perfect tense system, and in the third or fourth stage when it comes to simple present and past tenses. Likewise, in plasmatic development, alert could be highly adapted at certain conventional gambits but are left to adapt to a more substantive style. Casper 1998. We also need to remember that production errors alone are another quite mature or over competence. They are salient features of R2 learn interlanguage, but correct utterance warrants our attention, and especially in the teaching learning process. The third possible reinforcement learns a rare window of opportunity. Learn is fundamentally a process that involves the making of mistakes, misjudgment, miscalculation, and erroneous assumption for important aspects of learning, virtually any skill, or acquiring information. You learn to swim by first jumping into the water and failure hurts less until you discover that there is a combination of movement and structured patterns that success in keeping you afloat and propelling you through the water. The first stage of learning to swim are giant ones, gradually diminishing as you learn from making of mistakes. Learns to swim, to play tennis, to tap or to read or involve a process in which success comes by profiting from mistakes, by using mistakes to obtain feedback from the environment and with the feedback to make new attempts that successively approximate the desired goals. Language learned in this sense is like any other language which has already seen suffered to that child learn their first language may countless errors from the point of view of adult grammatical language. Many of these mistakes are logic in the limited linguistic system which children operate by carefully process. Feedback from other children slowly but surely learn to produce acceptable speech. R2 learn is a process